entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Welcome to another Monday Night Live training, where your journey to business success accelerates. Join us for insights, strategies, and tools to elevate your business while keeping your budget in mind. It's time to transform your passion into profit. Your host, Corey von Bill Foster, is about to take the stage. Get ready to be inspired and empowered. The future of your business starts now.
Hey guys. Oh my gosh. This is a true testament of when there is a will, there is a way. For those of you who are new to the iRock world, one, hello. So glad that you could join us. But this is not our typical look. This is not our typical background. But one thing that is typical is that every single Monday, right, without fail, rain, shine, sickness, health, we are always in the building. And people be thinking I'm joking, but I'm like, no, I have literally, so let's back up. I know you guys are seeing this live, but it is currently, while I am recording this, it is Sunday, almost 11 o'clock at night. I love doing these Monday Night Lives live. Obviously, it's in the title, but every now and then, every blue moon, I'm booked or I'm traveling or something is going on where I have to pre-record. And sometimes, y'all, I'm going to be honest, I don't be telling y'all because sometimes it's not necessary. And truth be told, I didn't intend to tell y'all this time. However, my apps was acting up. I am currently in sunny Florida. I have spent, if you've been looking at my Facebook, then you know, I have been here with one of our platinum clients, Maria, and her company, Autism in Black, for their 5th annual conference. And y'all, I thought I was gonna make it back in time, but then I looked at my plane ticket and it says I'm not gonna get back to like 7:45. And you know what that means? It was like, oh no, what we're not gonna do is miss a Monday Night Live, because we have never, let me say it again, we have never missed a Monday Night Live training. And I say that because no matter what, even if I have to record it early for you guys, you will be able to see our Monday Night Lives every single Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, period, no matter what. Like, if you don't see it, y'all keep me in prayer because something crazy has happened. And we're going to knock on wood that it doesn't. But yeah, if you do not see me here at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Monday, the world has ended. But yes, I'm in my hotel room. I told my sister, like, go take a shower, go use the bathroom, give me like 20 minutes to talk to the people, because she knows how serious I take these. So if you are joining us, I appreciate you. This is why I make sure to show up, because I want to make sure that when you show up, we are here. You may see me sipping a little bit on some Sprite. I'm trying to stay awake. We have been here since Wednesday. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't sleep well when I travel. So I literally have been living off of very little sleep since, well, actually before Wednesday, but definitely since Wednesday when we got into Florida. We fly out in the morning. And then me being not so smart, but I wanted to have fun with the kids. We had spring break right before this. So we went on vacation to North Carolina for spring break, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Came back Monday, flew out to Florida because I'm from Virginia on Wednesday, said Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'll be flying back when you're watching this. If you're watching this at 6, your girl is in the air again. Keep me in prayer. But, you know, sometimes we have to already say, like, God's got it. We'll be fine. We're going to land safely. And you guys are going to enjoy an amazing Monday Night Live. All this month we've been talking about content. And one of the things that I heard, because we asked people, like, how did you hear about us? Like, how did you hear about the conference? And a lot of people said they saw it on social media, right? They saw it on social media. So yes, I totally understand that in the current state of things, social media has had major changes, right? A lot of the traditional platforms like a Facebook and Instagram are not organically pushing social media content like you used to. It's real. That's just what it is. There's not much we can do about it. But one thing we can do is remain active on these accounts, right? Active in our Facebook, active in our Instagram, active in our LinkedIn profiles, and continue to post. Because when people do hear about us, come across us, we want to make sure that we are still there. So we'll talk more about that in today's session. But I just want to kind of keep that in your mind. Something else that I already knew, but it always, when I get around my folks in real life, right? Because a lot of my stuff is like virtual, so we don't meet in person often. But when we get in the same building, a big part of doing business is about collaboration, networking, building community. And so I love that we could do that this weekend. I got to see some of my past, like not past clients, some of my clients. Of course, the host of the conference is a client of mine, but one of the speakers was also a client of mine. I also met a new up and coming entrepreneur. We had some really good talks, and I gave her some challenges. So if you're watching this right now, get your work done. But I also was able to make some really good connections as well. And you, through social media, through email marketing, through DM marketing, can also build connections, whether it's with your audience or with potential collaborators for your business as well. So we're going to kind of talk about that quickly tonight. Like I said, I got until my assistant comes out the bathroom to give you all I got. And so let's dive in. All right, let's see how it's going. Okay, it's looking okay. It's looking okay. All right, so we're going to be talking about content strategies that build relationships. I got to see where all my buttons are, y'all. I'm used to all my screens. But before we dive in, I always want to make sure, especially for those who may be new to the iRock family, I always want to make sure I kind of reintroduce myself in the business. If you didn't hear me earlier, I'm Corey Fonville Foster. I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, I'm a certified business coach that specializes in business implementation, especially around the areas of business fundamentals, marketing, and sales. And then I also own iRock Marketable Business Solutions, which is a small business marketing firm based out of Virginia. But as you can see, we out here in these streets, we service clients all over the country, in person and virtually. We empower our clients through our coaching programs, where we are providing hands-on support, whether it's in our courses, our group coaching, our one-on-one coaching, our power hours, intensives, etc. And then we also are giving you the done-for-you services on our marketing side, websites, logos, video editing, social media marketing, VA services. So we really consider ourselves the one-stop shop for small business owners who are looking for affordable solutions that are grounded in implementation. All right. So, I was like, I cannot see. I just was, let's see here. Give me 1 second is that a little better? Oh, okay. Hold on. Trying to make sure I can actually see my notes, y'all. I'm like, where is the screen? Okay, cool. All right, we got it. All right, so we're going to take care of 3 things today. We're going to, 1, understand how to align your content with your client's needs and interests, or potential clients' needs and interests. We're going to learn strategies to build trust through value-driven content. Some of you will say, okay, I post content, but it's just sales content. You got to get out of the habit of that. No one wants to be sold to all the time. And I'm not saying that you can't ever sell, but you do have to remember that it has to be value first. All right, and then 3, we're going to explore examples of content that fosters deeper audience connections. All right, well, like I said, we're going to get in and get out. I hear the shower water running. So let's get into it. Let's first start with the question. Are your social media posts sparking conversation or just getting scrolled past? I've talked about this time and time again, that it isn't all about the likes, the shares, the follows, but you do, of course, want to have engagement in your content. And we need to start really looking at it instead of being emotionally driven, and look at the data and say, are people interested in the topic? Is it sparking conversation? Is it going to get people thinking? And if it isn't, and it's just like, buy this plate or, buy this cup, it's like, then we have some work to do. So I would say, look at the last 3 to 5 posts you put on social media. I'm not even going to ask you when you posted them, but look at the last 3 to 5 pieces of content and ask yourself, is it content that is sparking conversation with your audience? And is it related to your business? Because some of y'all are posting pictures of your dog, your vacation, what have you. And I'm not against having content that shows you as a person as well. But when we're looking at this from a business standpoint, is the content you're posting sparking conversation that is around the problems, the solutions, the industry that you're in, the problem that you're solving? Because if the answer is no or maybe, again, we have work to do. And y'all, your girl ain't got no notes today. We gonna roll though. We gonna roll. All right. So imagine your content becoming the go-to resource for your audience, creating, I gotta move my little slide here, creating that lead to loyal clients and referrals, right? And I want you to imagine that, because I think sometimes we think things aren't possible, right? We think that, you know, like it's not going to happen for us, or nobody's ever going to look at our stuff. I have clients who start off, they don't post stuff before us, and then they're like, nobody's ever going to connect with their content, or it's not going to work. And I'm like, give it some time. Give it some time, right? Nothing was built in a day. Give it some time. So imagine your content becoming the go-to resource for your audience, right? You are already an expert. That's what I tell anybody who engages with me, who's a client of mine. I would say you're already an expert, because you are. You may not realize it yet. I get it. Sometimes it takes a little while to realize, like, you that thing, right? But yes, you are already an expert. Your business is the go-to. The problem is that you're almost the best kept secret. Nobody knows that you're there, that you can solve a problem that they are just begging, searching, pleading somebody to solve. And so we have to change that. We have to change that. We have to make this idea a reality. So how do we do that? All right. Let's give you one more question. Let's get you thinking. I want to spark some conversation. Do you truly understand what your audience needs most right now? And again, we've talked about this in previous talks about the understanding that you need to focus on what your client needs and wants from you, right? I have some clients and potential clients that will talk to me, and I can tell they are head over heels in love with their business idea. And not just their business idea, but their idea of what they want to sell, right? They're like, oh, I got this offer, right? I got this offer. This is what I'm going to sell. These people need it. And I'm like, okay, cool. I get you. But have you thought about this? And they're like, what? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about this, right? I've had clients really push back when I'm like, maybe we should actually be selling this, because right now in your industry, this is selling. And they're like, no, I want to sell this. And I'm like, we can try, nothing beats a fail but a try. But I already know, kind of going in, like, based on the data, right? Based on the research, based on what the industry is doing, the odds of this working out are probably next to nothing. Sometimes we think that we found a solution to a problem that nobody else has thought of. And I'm not saying that it's not possible, but often it isn't the case. Oftentimes we think that we have a solution, and we may. Now let me back up. You may have the solution, but the way that you are packaging it for your audience, and the way you're messaging it to your audience, is not resonating with them, because the way they're thinking about the problem, the way they're trying to find the solution, the alignment isn't there. Right. And I'm not gonna put nobody on blast. I'm gonna talk about this scenario. We're gonna call it a case study, but I'm not gonna mention the business name. But I worked with a client once who's in education, and she created this service, right? I'm trying to think how to word it, because I don't want to. It's actually a really good service, and it doesn't exist in this way, and I don't want to give it all away. But I had a client who was in education who realized that there was a need, right? There was a need after COVID to support students, and she noticed that there were schools that had more money, that were somewhat implementing something similar to her idea, but the people she really wanted to help did not have this thing. Oh, excuse me. And so her offer was basically to go into school and create this thing that was going to support the students, right? And it was in a specific way. And the way she wanted to do it was expensive for the school. And my thought is if, in reality, based on like the money that they probably had and the resources they probably had, it just isn't probably something the school was going to invest in. Let's just be honest. But then I also realized too that Not only could they probably not afford it, but they probably did not have staff to implement it because it needed a lot of different things. Then also adding to that, she also did not have necessarily the business structure, infrastructure to support the idea she had. So there were a lot of things against her. But the biggest thing was is that the schools were not asking for this product. They were asking for the solution that she thought her product would solve, but they were not asking for her product, right? The way she had packaged it. I was like, oh yeah, like if you went in and did PDs talking about like how to add these pieces or to do these things, or if you did like family engagement nights doing these things, it would work. But she was so set on like, no, this is the only way I would do it. I would need to do X, Y, and Z so they could get A, B, and C. And it was like, no, she didn't sell not one of those offers, right? Not one. And it wasn't that the offer wouldn't be successful. It was just the audience, right? The people she was trying to serve were not looking for that packaging of the solution. They were looking for the solution to their problem, but not in that way. And so we have to be able to open up our ears, take our ego out of it, and say, what is my audience wanting? What are they needing? How are they wanting it? And then be able to deliver it in that way. So let's go back here, right? Audience research. If that client would have done more research into her audience, she would have realized that there was definitely a difference between the people who were already implementing something similar versus the people she wanted to support. That was one. Because the people that were already implementing some of the things she wanted to put in her offer had money, right? They had the finances to implement it because that's why they were able to do it. Like everybody knew it would work, but they had the money to do it. And there were even points when we would talk and she was like, well, I'll go into those schools and like do demos and put some stuff together. It's like, well, they already got it. They don't need it. We can't do a demo for them because they already have enough of these pieces that they're just fine. And so if she had done more audience research, she would have seen how she could have tweaked that product to fit her real audience, right? And be like, okay, cool. If they don't have funds for this, but we know that they have to get so many PD hours done, then maybe we can slide in the PD door, right? Maybe we could do some other things. Maybe we can look for some grants to support some schools, all these kinds of things. None of that was done. So audience research is first. A lot of you guys are skipping this step because you don't know how to do audience research. A lot of you guys are skipping this step because a little bit of fear is seeping in and you're like, I don't want to know. Maybe somebody else is doing this thing that I just have been, dreaming up, right? And then some of you are like, well, I'm just so unique that, I don't need to do research. I'm actually, because I'm big on investing in my education and growth every year. I'm in a program right now in my local area. And we were talking recently in a class about research, right? Market research. And one of the girls in the class, I ain't gonna say no names again, but she was like, oh, I don't have no competition, ma'am. And I know what she sells. So I was like, girl bad, right? So again, audience research is great no matter what, because it allows you to know, again, what your client is looking for, what problems they are having that need to be solved, and how they want that solution delivered to them. And then also, what are your competitors doing? How are they getting in front of their audience? A lot of you are trying to figure out what content to make by sitting at home being like, what do I want to post? What should I post? Well, I guess I'll try this. Like, if everybody in your industry is doing the same thing, same kind of strategy and it's working for them, you need to get in there and do something similar because obviously your audience is connecting with that type of content. Again, solving a problem. Some people will create something and be like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. My audience will love this, and it solves no problem. No problem at all. It's like, why would somebody buy something that doesn't solve a problem? Even if it's not something groundbreaking, earth-shattering, it still needs to solve a problem, right? Like soap is not a new invention. It is not something that, is this crazy new thing, right? But new soap brands come out all the time. They put a twist on it. They're like, here you go, right? It still solves a problem. Don't nobody want to be dirty. So you don't have to overthink it, but you do have to know what problem your product or service or business solves and who does it help. And then when it comes to the content piece of it, you also need to be able to show empathy, to show understanding, to show that you get it. I think sometimes we talk from a place of like, I know this works. I'm just going to talk about the solution phase of it versus being like, no, I totally understand how you got in this situation, why you're in this situation, why you haven't been able to solve this problem on your own. A lot of times it's like, it's not your fault. I get it. Like, you have to be able to put yourself into your audience's shoes. And a lot of times your target audience is the you of years before, right? Or the industry, the pieces of the industry that were yours before. And so I don't think it should be that hard to find empathy and understanding, but I think sometimes we just forget to come from that standpoint. We're so big in thinking like, oh, well, here's the features of this offer and here you go. It's like, no, talk to me as a person. Talk to me as someone who understands the challenges that I'm facing and why, right? I have a lot of ed consultants that we work with. And right now we have to have some empathy and say, like, we get it, ain't all y'all. Right? A lot of teachers are struggling right now. Even some admin who have the best intentions are struggling right now. The students are struggling right now. And instead of being like, oh my God, your school sucks, I'm gonna come in and fix everything. It's like, no, let's talk about, how this is a hard time. This is an uncertain time. And I definitely can understand how we're falling short of our goals, because there are a lot of things going against us. Like showing that realness, that understanding, that transparency is just so important. And even though you may have to be creative about how you show this in content, it's a step you do not want to overlook. So just kind of keep that in mind. I got another question for you. How often do you share actionable tips or insights without asking for anything in return? This kind of goes back to the value piece I was talking about earlier. How often do you just give? Right? I've had people ask, like, if I just give it all away, like, why would they buy it? First of all, back to the fact you're an expert. So there's no way that you're going to give everything away anyway, right? All your years of expertise are not going to come out in a 1 hour webinar. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so let's nip that thought in the bud. But let's also talk about when we do share, right? When we do put out value, how often are we telling people like, now take this step? Right? I was explaining this to a client recently because I was telling them to create a lead magnet webinar, right? And I was explaining like, this is not a demo. Oftentimes I get like these webinars back and I look through client webinars and I'm like, all you did was introduce yourself and then kind of lead people to your pitch for 20, 30, 45 minutes. That's not a good lead magnet webinar. You need to give value. Actually, and I'll give you guys this tip for free. I use the 1 hour webinar framework that tells you how to set up your webinar for conversion. It tells you how much time you should spend on your intro, how much time you should spend on like testimonials and kind of building up credibility, how much time you should spend on value-driven education, how you should do your call to action. And so feel free to look that up and put that together. But a lot of that stems through wanting to give value. The biggest chunk of that webinar time is around the value that you're going to bring to your potential audience or to your current audience. And yes, of course, on a on a webinar, you're gonna have an ask because that's the point. But a lot of your day-to-day content, a lot of your email content, a lot of your DM messaging, a lot of your blog content should be value-driven, but in a way that gets your audience to take action, period. Right. So just like when I do these sessions with you guys, I gotta hurry up, and get out of the bathroom. Just like I do these sessions with you guys, it's big on giving value. And then at the end, I always give you a challenge like, hey, you should do this. You should try this. Even when I was networking here in Florida, I was talking to a young lady who's an entrepreneur, and I was like, hey, before you get back on the plane to go back home, I want you to connect with 3 potential clients. Right? I think I challenged her with 4. But yeah, 4 potential clients. Like you can talk to 4 more people. And she was like, yes, I can do that. So make sure that the content that you're putting out gets people to take action, whether it's to read a blog article, whether it's to do something, maybe you're consulting, implement something in their classroom. You don't want people just to feel the warm and fuzzies or feel the excitement and then not take action. Because what you'll find is when they take action, right, when they listen to you, oh, my phone died. That one.
You will not be able to see me, but you'll be able to hear me because we're going to finish this out. Because again, where there's a will, there's a way. But like I was saying, making sure that you are giving them actionable steps to do. That's basically all I was saying. We're going to move on before the computer dies. Here we go. All right, so let's get into practical strategies, because I want to make sure that you get the how-to of all of this. All right, so first practical strategy is the give before the ask. We kind of were talking about that anyway, on the last slide. Make sure that you are giving massive value, giving value in your emails, giving value in your DMs. Don't go to the DMs and be like, hey, you want to buy this thing? Right? I can't stand when people do that. Now, I don't want you to be mysterious for 2 weeks, right? But I do want you to get to know me. I do want you to offer me maybe something for free, or, give me something, a tip to take away, something like that. But yes, give before the ask. So we always go with the 80-20 rule. 80% of your content should be value driven, 20% should be sales. So try to keep that in mind, but definitely give, and give. Be transparent. People need to understand the journey. People need to see the realness and the human side of you, at least for my audience, because I'm big on working with coaches and consultants. So they need you to be transparent. They need you to be like, hey, we'll go back to the ed consultant. This is not going to be an overnight thing. You're going to implement this, look at the data, come back, adjust it, and continue on and improve as you implement this program, something like that. Like, we have to have that honesty. We don't want people to think that they're going to work with us and then in 10, 20, 30 days they're going to be a millionaire. They're going to be a published New York Times best author, or the kids are going to be top US scholars. Like, no, let's be honest. Let's be transparent. Let's be real, because people value that. And then when they get the result, you say they're going to be happy because you are honest, right? You told them, hey, it's going to be some trial and error. It's going to be some hurdles, but we're going to move into our next point, be consistent. And I love this picture. I found it today when I was prepping for talking about this topic, consistency, right? And I talk about the law of momentum a lot. And this picture really illustrates what I talk about. And really the way I think about it is that your business, your passion that you're monetizing is this boulder, right? This big yellow ball that this person is pushing up the hill. And if you've ever had to push something heavy, you got to keep the momentum going, right? Because the moment you stop, that sucker gets real heavy. And if it's real heavy, it can push you backwards. And so when it comes to building connection, right? That's what we've been talking about this whole time. When it comes to building connection with your audience, when it comes to building that know, like, and trust, when it comes to converting those potential clients into paid clients, or keeping those paid clients to returning clients, we have to have consistency in our business. So no, we can't ask people to join our newsletter and then they join and then we never send them a newsletter, or we send one in June, but then we don't send one in July, right? When you DM somebody and say, hey, let's connect, and then you don't connect with them after they say, sure, right? We're not being consistent, and people are like, they're a little weird, right? They're not sticking to it. When you are putting people on your email list, you email them maybe 2 or 3 times and you don't email them again, or you email them every blue moon, right? Not consistent. When you're posting on social media, here, there, and everywhere, right? You're not being consistent. And every time that you are losing consistency, that boulder is getting heavier and heavier and pushing you further and further away from your goal, pushing you further and further away from your sales. So we have to keep that in mind. We're giving value. We're being transparent and honest about what we can't do, when this result will happen, right? Or potential result will happen. And then we're being consistent in all of our marketing efforts, and making sure that we are actually pushing this boulder up the hill towards our goal. All right, so we're almost there. So here's another question. What type of content do you feel most connected to when you see things, like when you're looking online? I think this is so important because, again, so many of my clients are like, I have no clue what to post. I'm like, what do you like to look at? Again, if you are your target audience a couple years removed, why wouldn't you at least start, right after the market research? Why wouldn't you at least start posting content that at least you would enjoy? right? Don't just be posting whatever, like market research, and then what would you enjoy? Post that. See how it goes. See what people engage with. See what people connect to, and then tweak it from there. And I think that's a really good strategy for most business owners. All right. So what types of things can you post? Client stories are always great. I've been posting since I've been here in Florida, kind of like a before the day really gets started type of video, been going live, and that's been doing really, really well. Sometimes I also share stories, whether it's a case story or testimony about a client, or I talk about clients on live or pre-recordings, interactive content, polls, surveys, asking people to engage in the chat, asking people to like, share, and follow, asking people to enjoy a blog, a newsletter, etc. And then, of course, inspirational, motivational content on top of the value you're giving, kind of giving people hope that they don't have to be in this place of struggle for too long, right? That there is hope on the horizon, that there is change just beyond where they are now. And that is some other great content that you can post that will increase the connection you have with your audience. So yes, we did good, y'all. It's only been like 30 minutes. We made it through the presentation. So at this point, I hope you understand how to align your content with your client's needs and interests. Because again, it's about the client. Let me say that again. It's about the client. It's not about just what you want to make. It's about the client, what they need and who they need it from, and in the way that it makes sense for them. You've learned strategies to build trust through value-driven content. We're going to be very value-driven as we prepare to engage and connect with our clients. And you explored examples of content that fosters deeper audience connection, right? Because when we build connection, the whole point of it isn't just to say, oh, I've connected with them. Cool. That's fun. They like to post. Yay. The whole point is, again, we're building know, like, and trust, because we know when we build know, like, and trust, right? They know who we are. They like what we're doing. They trust us. That is going to increase our conversion. So hopefully you got that through this presentation. So I told you earlier, I kind of gave you a heads up. There's always a week challenge. So this week, I want you to create one piece of content that focuses on building trust or conversation. I already gave you some ideas. So share it online and tag us, because we want to celebrate you. We always want to cheer you on. Like, it's a big deal when you do something you haven't done before, you haven't done in a long time. A lot of people are like, oh, it's not, that ain't a big deal. It is a big deal, right? Post a piece of content that is about connecting with your audience, building that trust. And like I said, tag us in it so we can be like, you go, girl, you did it. And if you're still sitting here saying, I get it, I hear you, but I want some more support. I want to put together a full strategy around my products. I maybe even want to look at my offer. I have some clients right now that we're kind of redoing or kind of updating their offers and packages. Like, let's get together. Let's get on a call. You can use the link on your screen or scan that QR code so that we can have a free chat to see what support you may need. Best believe I am very value driven. So regardless if you work with us or not, you're going to leave with some insights, some tips, some resources to move you further along in your business. But guys, thank you so much for watching this Monday Night Live. We done went through it, but like I told you, consistency. I said I'm going to be here regardless. So it is done. We will see you next Monday. Hopefully I will be in my regular office with all my gadgets and gadgets. But I will see you then. Remember, I rock, you rock, we all rock. Until next time.
In the journey of entrepreneurship, success is often about having the right guidance and tools at your fingertips. Welcome to iRock Marketable Business Solutions, your compass to business excellence. We understand that as a service-based small business owner, your path to success is unique. That's why iRock offers a wide range of coaching and consulting services tailored to your needs. Imagine gaining the knowledge you need from the comfort of your own home. Explore our quick on-demand webinars, courses, and toolkits designed to accelerate your business growth. But we go beyond that. Join our vibrant community in our group coaching programs, or experience personalized guidance with our one-on-one coaching and consulting services. At iRock, every program comes with incredible bonuses. These bonuses are designed to support you on your journey, helping you bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Some of our bonuses include expert speaker sessions, group Q&A calls, guides, checklists, scripts, and more. Ready to supercharge your business journey? Explore our coaching and consulting services. Get the guidance and tools you need to reach your goals. Empower your business with iRock Marketable Business Solutions.